Hello, I'm Jacob. I'm the host of the show. Thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing, and just being a part of what we do here. So, to begin this episode, we're going to talk about the Combine. Primarily, the fact that the NFL decided to begin by bubbling, is what they called it, bubbling, which was going to have the players and agents stay in the hotels as much as possible so we can do this as quickly as possible within the 4-day stretch without getting anyone infected with COVID. But then there was a petition out. Now the NFL and the agents have said we don't want this. So they went to the NFLPA, which is the Players Association. The Players Association was like, this doesn't make any sense. So the NFL has decided to unbubble after the petition that was all signed by, that was going to have around 150 prospects boycott the Combine in general. Which, I feel bad for the NFL because they're trying to keep everyone safe in a very different location. It's not the same. If this was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or however many years ago before we had COVID, this would not be in discussion. But since this is now in COVID times, it's discussed. It's just one of those things that has to happen. But the NFL decided to relinquish that kind of control as now they are unbubbling. The NFL is planning a twist from the Monday night doubleheader. Normally, what would happen is they'd play a game at 7, and then play a game at 10:30. They are planning to play one game on ESPN and one game on ABC. Okay, but they're planning them to play them simultaneously, which not a terrible idea, but again, we don't know what the slate is for Monday night right now. We don't know who's the commentators, which we'll get to in a minute. We don't know anything. All we know is they're planning to make this switch at this point. Another thing about the NFL is the NFL and the XFL are going to collaborate in 2023 as to improve the game of football, was what it was said as. To make the game safer, to make the game all this stuff. And truly, I believe the XFL this year, with under the tutelage of Dwayne Johnson and a few others, if they can do this right, because it's shown that it can work in other places, that if you have another product that's the same product but just under a different name, it works still. So they have to. I think the one thing, if you remember when the XFL happened a few years ago, the one thing I liked about that XFL was the fact they had a referee to place the ball. His only job, he didn't throw a flag, his only job was to grab the ball, put the ball down, and go. That quickened the game, that helped everyone out. I didn't care for the scoring system of, if you're 2 yards away, it's 2 points. If it's 4 yards away, it's like, I didn't get it. It made no sense to me to do that in the supposed football kind of business. It made no sense. It was illogical at some points. But I digress. Antonio Brown came out with another little rant on the Bucs, Tom Brady, and Brady Arians. Basically saying, according to the Bucs, what he said about the Bucs was, the Bucs intentionally hurt me and made me play while I was still hurt. Tom said he'd throw me the football if I played hurt. And I was hurt. But he didn't throw me the football. And Brady Arians had said, after supposedly what AB said is that he couldn't run, Bruce said, if you're hurt and you can't run, you don't need to be here. That's what he said. Now, again, we all know that AB has had his problems in the past, and those are still at the surface at this point. I'm just hoping he can get the help he needs, and I'm hoping that this is not the end of his football career, because I still think he's an extremely talented player. But how many bridges are you burning to the point that what happened in Pittsburgh, where I don't understand either how Pittsburgh was so good at keeping a lid on everything that AB was doing, if he was exactly like this way for his whole career. I don't know exactly what fully happened in Las Vegas, aka Oakland, at the time. I don't know what fully happened with the New England Patriots fully. I know there was the issues and he got released. I get that. But this Bucs stuff, I don't get it fully. It makes no sense. It's all... But it's like, at the same time, it's very well worded. And it's very well internalized. I'm just kind of confused on how much of this is true and how much of this is fantasized. That's my concern of the whole situation. And I actually saw this a few minutes ago, actually. The Dolphins are planning to pursue Sean Payton and Tom Brady in an ownership group. Now, I saw conflicting reports of the plan is for the Dolphins, they wanted to pursue Sean Payton as their head coach and pursue Tom Brady as their owner. That's what I was told. Now, there was a conflicting report that said they would both be part of the ownership group, that they'd be co-owners. So, I don't know which one's fully true. I just don't see Sean Payton say, oh, I want to go back to coaching right now. I just don't see that happening. And I could see Tom Brady wanting to own a team. Peyton Manning's trying to do that with the Broncos at this point. But there are some reports that we'll get to in a later video about there's more options for Tom Brady than being an owner or a coach in the NFL.